All right, lads, let's talk Roman history. Gladiators? Overrated? Chariot races? Been there, done that? No, today we're diving into the Praetorian Guard, the blokes with the swords who made and broke emperors. It all started with Augustus, the emperor who liked things neat and tidy. He figured every big cheese needs protection, right? So he created the Praetorian Guard, a crack team of tough guys, hand-picked from the legions. 9,000 strong they were, stationed right outside Rome. They weren't just muscle though, these lads were the best of the best. Paid handsomely and allowed to retire after 16 years. Little did he know, this elite force would soon become a force of its own, leaving its mark on Roman history. Next up, we've got Sejanus, a man so ambitious he'd make a Ferrari mechanic blush. This bloke was the prefect of the Praetorian Guard, basically the top dog, under Emperor Tiberius. Now, Tiberius was a bit of a recluse, preferring the pleasures of Capri to the pressures of Rome. This gave Sejanus all the wiggle room he needed. Sejanus was a master manipulator, a right slippery customer. He whispered in Tiberius's ear, filling his head with tales of treachery and sedition. He bumped off rivals, consolidated his power, and generally acted like he owned the place. The Sejanus affair, as it became known, was a right royal mess. This power-hungry prefect was practically running the empire from the shadows, and the Praetorians, drunk on their own influence, were his to command. It all came crashing down, of course, when Tiberius finally got wise to Sejanus's game. The result? A swift and brutal execution, proving that even the most cunning serpent can't outmaneuver a suspicious emperor forever. Now let's talk about Caligula, the emperor who makes a bull in a china shop look like a model of restraint. This bloke was as mad as a box of frogs, prone to fits of cruelty and bizarre whims. He appointed his horse as a senator, for crying out loud. Despite his eccentricities, Caligula understood the importance of keeping the Praetorians on his good side. He showered them with gifts, increased their pay, and even built them a fancy new barracks. But here's the thing about madness. It's unpredictable. Even the most loyal bodyguard can only take so much. In 41 AD, Caligula's reign of terror came to an abrupt end. A group of disgruntled Praetorians, fed up with his antics and fearing for their own lives, cornered the emperor in a narrow corridor and stabbed him to death. It was a brutal end for a brutal ruler, proving that even the most powerful man in Rome was vulnerable to the sharp end of a gladius. Section 4. Pertinax, an emperor on a budget. After the whole Caligula debacle, you'd think the Praetorians would have learned their lesson. But no, they were just getting started. Enter Pertinax, an elderly senator who found himself unexpectedly thrust into the role of emperor after the assassination of Commodus. Another story for another time. Pertinax was a decent sort, a real straight shooter. He tried to rein in the excesses of the empire and restore some semblance of order. The problem was he also tried to rein in the excesses of the Praetorian Guard. Pertinax attempted to reduce the Guard's privileges and cut their pay. Big mistake. The Praetorians, accustomed to a life of luxury and influence, were less than impressed. They stormed the imperial palace, butchered poor old Pertinax, and sent a clear message: mess with the Guard, and you mess with your life. Section 5. Didius Julianus, the empire goes up for sale. With Pertinax gone, the Praetorian Guard did something audacious. They put the Roman Empire up for auction. Yes, you heard that right. The highest bidder would become emperor, a ludicrous concept. Didius Julianus, with more money than sense, seized his chance. He outbid rivals, securing the dubious honor of puppet emperor. The Roman people were outraged by this turn of events. The idea of their empire being bought and sold was an outrage. The Praetorians, drunk on power and cash, had crossed a line. The auction marked a new low, a shameful episode in Roman history. Section 6. The Praetorians, out of control and out of time. The Praetorian Guard, once the protectors of Rome, had become its poison. They were a law unto themselves, making and breaking emperors on a whim. The good times couldn't last forever, though. Enter Septimius Severus, a no-nonsense general who became emperor after Julianus's short and disastrous reign. Severus knew the Praetorians had to go. He disbanded the entire lot of them, scattering them to the four winds. He then replaced them with a new guard, loyal only to him. The Praetorian Guard, once the most powerful force in Rome, was no more. Their legacy, however, lived on. They serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, the corrupting influence of wealth, and the importance of keeping your bodyguards on a tight leash. They were a fascinating bunch, these Praetorians, but like a clapped-out larder, their time was up. And frankly, Roman history was all the better for it.